first to fears the royal family is feeling the full effect of a slimmed-down monarchy after 3 of its most senior members were forced to step back from public duties over health concerns. The Princess of Wales remains in hospital tonight following that planned abdominal surgery this week, where she was visited earlier by her husband, Prince William. Kensington Palace says the Princess is doing well, but she's expected to miss out on a string of key engagements, including the BAFTAs and the St David's Day Parade in Cardiff. Prince William is also postponing his work to look after his family during Kate's recovery. Now, this comes as the palace announced that King Charles will also undergo surgery next week after seeking treatment for a benign enlarged prostate. His engagements will be postponed while he recovers, although palace officials maintain the king will not step back for long enough to require other members of the family to take over his duties. During a trip to Aberdeen, Queen Camilla did reassure well-wishers that the king is fine and said she'd pass on their best wishes. Meanwhile, Kate's doctors have advised that she's unlikely to return to royal duties until Easter. The princess lives an active lifestyle. We're told that she enjoys CrossFit, amongst other sports, and experts are saying that that will make for a faster recovery. And, of course, that's something that we all wish upon her. But I think this point about the slimmed-down monarchy is a valid one. You know, Princess Anne was asked about it last year, and she said that she thought it was a bit of a mistake because, of course, Charles has been saying for decades that when his time comes as king, he wanted to have a more modern, slimmed-down monarchy. Fewer working royals means less expense paid on them. He thought that would be more popular, more efficient, all the rest of it. But, of course, he didn't know back in those days that he was not going to have Harry and his wife, whoever that might have been, and he wasn't going to have his brother Andrew to lean on. He always envisaged that they would be part of the slimmed-down monarchy. Yeah. So he's sort of been hoisted by his own petard in some ways, in that he's created this slimmed-down monarchy, but he's missing some crucial players. So actually, it's a bit too skinny now. He doesn't have enough other royals to lean on.
I'm not really buying that. There's a couple of really good working royals who do a fantastic job. Sophie Wessex.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, I think she's much underrated. You know, over recent years, she really has been working hard. We know the Queen loved her, really thought she did an amazing job of public service. Also Princess Anne, and people are always pleased when Princess Anne turns up at engagements. I mean, you're right, this wasn't Plan A, was it? I mean, Plan A was the so-called Fab Four, and that would have been fantastic, but we don't have them. And this is a highly unusual set of circumstances. By all accounts, it seems that the king won't be off work for too long. The other thing is Camilla's really come into her own. You know, she is much kind of, her public image is so much better than it was, even if you cast back 5 years ago. So I think there's enough to go around.
Yeah, and I think we need to keep it in perspective. I mean, royal engagements are often, they're largely ceremonial. Things, it's not like the government ceasing to function. I think that, maybe some gala fetes won't be opened by a senior royal. Things, as Isabel says, a prostate operation or a procedure for enlarged prostate generally doesn't take. My father had prostate issues for 30 years. Generally, you bounce back pretty quickly from that. It doesn't sound like it's going to be the long recovery that Kate is projected to have. But I don't think the country is going to fall because you don't have Charles and William and Kate around for the next few weeks or months.
It's very unusual to have the big three, as they're referred to. Charles, William and Kate all off games, as it were, at the same time. I mean, that is highly unusual, but it does pose question. And you're right, I was looking at some of the figures today, Isabel. The king did 516 engagements last year, which is a huge number. But quite rightly, Princess Royal Anne, she did 410. Yeah. Edward did 259. And actually, people have been saying for some time that William and Kate don't do a huge number. And last year, William did 175 and Kate did 134. So that is a fraction of what the others. Now, of course, many would say, they're full-time, they're not full-time parents, but they want to devote as much time to their kids. And actually now that we know that Kate has been suffering with some sort of medical issue, perhaps that's another reason why she didn't do as many engagements last year.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a good number, isn't it? And, she's got 3 young children. Yeah. It's a massive job in itself.
Yeah, I think too much has been made of the fact that the slimmed-down monarchy is going to be imperiled in Charles will be ruining the day that he decided to get rid of some people. It's absolutely fine. 2 days after he's had the operation, he's going to be in his bed signing all the paperwork he needs to be doing. And, OK, so Harry and Andrew aren't there. It's only 2 people. As you say, Princess Anne, I've met Princess Anne. The work she does for charities is fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah, her hosting an event can bring in so much money and raise so much awareness. So I think she does, for me personally, she's my favourite royal. I think she does a fantastic job as a royal, and she's just great for this country. She's more than capable enough to carry it well.
Yeah, I mean, there are obviously some capable people. It's a kind of an unintended consequences of this story that, and I didn't really expect this aspect of it, but because we're talking about thin on the ground, slimmed down monarchy, you are then forced to kind of have that debate about the monarchy and its relevance and its future and what it really means. And, you know, I speak as a sort of tacit Republican, I suppose, although, you know, the work of the Queen was, you know, there for all to see. Nobody expected Charles to immediately step into her shoes with the same vigour and style and verve that she did. But, you know, he's a busy guy. Camilla, as Isabel says, very accessible sort of characters, brought some nice light, I think, to the firm, as it were. But I can't help but think, years ago, when Harry and Meghan first stepped on the scene, and I remember thinking, well, that's it now. The royal family are back in business because this pair, you know, good-looking couple, she's of mixed race background. That's going to, you know, completely dovetail into the whole modernising of the royal. Everything about this is fantastic. And then, of course, it went totally pear-shaped and the whole thing fell apart. And what you're left with quite a lot of old people, actually. Princess Anne is 73. There's no doubt she's a hard worker. But if you start, I mean, don't even get into the duchesses and the dukes. Man alive. I mean, those people are absolutely ancient. They're in museums, some of these people. They don't live in manor houses. They live in the History Museum.
And actually, some of them are still working really hard.
And some of them are indeed still working.
And it makes one aware that William and Kate have got a lifetime of being... I mean, they've got another big job ahead of them to be king and queen. So it sort of explains even more why they might want to keep a bit of fuel in the tank for, you know, and bring up their family and have some time with their children, yet before they step into the next role, which is going to take over their whole lives.
It's what. However, if you're going to be in hospital, as Kate is, and we all obviously wish them a speedy recovery, then the London clinic, which has been linked to a kind of 5-star hotel. I mean, this hospital has got a backstory. Not many hospitals have a backstory you want to hear about. This place opened in 1932. You know, JFK has been there as a patient. John F. Kennedy was a patient there. Elizabeth Taylor she was an actress. She's a patient as well. The King opened the physiotherapy department in 1989. The late Queen unveiled a new cancer unit in 2010. There's a big old menu that Kate will be able to choose from soups, 2 soups, salads, small plates, main meals, and the bath. This is the only bit that got me, OK? The bathroom is stocked with molten brown toiletries. Now, there's nothing wrong with molten brown, but if I was paying that much, I want Creed in the bathroom. I want a nice range of... I'm sorry. I mean, it's, you know, it's great, but I've stayed at hotels.
I thought you were going to say there's a bar, you know.
I'm pretty sure there is a bar somewhere, yes.
I would be disappointed if
Staff are even on help to help patients wash their hair.
That's amazing. That
nice.
sounds great.
That's what you need after.
If you're paying £1,000 a day, you'd want some of that, wouldn't you?
You'd want some, Did you get the blow dry as well afterwards, do you think?
Well, you'd hope so. They wouldn't just leave you there soaking wet, gibbering full.
Well, I'm not sure that nurses do specialise in blow dries, actually. I can't really
ordinarily
see that.
they do. I don't think you're right.
It would be very, very, very nice. Another thing that's been tickling royal watchers today has been comments in Guess Who's book. I'm not sure we're going to publicise this book anymore.
Mr. Hardman.
It is Mr. Hardman. But he's been saying that the King's been spotted in lots of new ties, that the royal family have been giving him lots of new ties for all these 516 engagements that he did last year. But his favourite one, apparently, is this one that you can see him there, which is a pale pink tie. But the little pattern is actually a Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's got miniature dinosaurs all over it. And apparently this is an joke because since he became Charles III, and obviously his his sort of official name as monarch changed. So they've been made a little royal joke. So they've been calling him C-Rex,
as in
Rex.
I love that.
Rex for king,
that works
and
rather nice.
C-Rex, T-Rex. So that's the dinosaurs that he's.
Can I just say, by the way, whatever my kind of reservations about the notion of royalty, he is the best dressed man out there. He is so beautifully dressed, Charles. Lovely suits, always nice ties, everything about. He's not conventionally noticed for that because he's
never
not.
noticed that.
He is absolutely immaculate.
No,
Really?
sorry, King Charles is hugely noticed for that. Magazines like GQ are always.
Well, Isabel's never
best
noticed
dressed.
it.
Yeah, because I think maybe women are much more focused at looking at the women.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
you
The more
guys are more
flashy
unflashy.
GQ do pick it up.
pick it
Yeah,
up, yeah.
and they should do. He
And
just
do we know
wears a
who-
suit and
do we
tie
know
like no one
Who
else.
does it? Who's his tailor?
Well, I know his shoes are Church of England, as in churches.
Churches
yeah.
shoes,
And he's
yeah.
always saying that, he's always pointing at
And his
a
shirts-
pair of shoes and will say, I've had these 50 years, they're resold
They buy
every
one,
couple of
yeah,
years.
yeah.
And his
Very
shirts are
keen.
Turnbull and Asser, I believe.
Well,
Oh,
There you
good
go.
knowledge.
And the
Definitely
Queen's
all-
bras will Rigby Pella.
Rigby and Pella.
weren't they?
And of course, he works incredibly hard, the king, at not putting weight on. He is obsessive about his diet. He doesn't have
Meat
lunch
and
most
vegetables.
days. He eats the same breakfast. He has 2 meat and dairy-free days a week. He is fastidious about never going over. He's something like 11 stone or something, and he,
Which
and
is-
he won't
That's
ever
impressive because he's
go above it.
tall.
Yeah, yeah.
But he does love a KFC, apparently.
He really
What?
doesn't. He really doesn't.
I don't believe that.
So it's fake news
wish
from
that were
Colin.
true.
So we